Hello, I'm Jiho, and I'm gonna present on globalization and exploitation of developing countries. Contents are as follows. The primary factor used to distinguish developed countries from developing countries is gross domestic product per capita. And the difference in the purchasing power parity results on balanced power. So developed countries unethically make use of developing countries by exploiting people and the environment in developing countries. And I argue that there is need for compensation for it. Developing countries are abundant with skilled workers. However, unskilled workers are abundant in developing countries. One example is palm oil plantation. In Indonesian law, it prohibits any company from employing and involving any children under 18 in the worst form of labor, which includes work that might be damaging their health and safety. But international companies which are based on developed countries, they make use of labor in developing countries. And the second is dumping waste. Basel Convention is the arrangement of movement of hazardous waste and its disposal. And Basel Convention categorized e-waste as hazardous waste. It is because presence of toxic materials such as mercury, lead, and brominated flame retardants. The effects of e-waste is massive. According to the Environment and Social Development Organization, 83% of child workers are exposed to toxic substances related to electronic waste recycling in Bangladesh, and over 15% of these children die each year. And the third is kicking away letters. Montreal Protocol has discussed about the emission of the HFCs. And developing countries such as China, Brazil, and South Africa will cut down their HFCs by 85% of their values by 2047. And for this, multilateral fund is established. It is to finance the combining of manufacturing processes and educate the employees, pay royalties and patent rights on new technologies, and establish national ozone offices. And fourth is foreign aid. There has been cruel exploitative practices such as forced off their labor and turned into farm laborers on white-owned plantations in developing countries in the past. And most of the cheap raw materials that was exploited in colony was sold abroad as export. So to compensate for that, the US government provides aid to diverse developing countries such as Indonesia, Burma, Uganda, and so on. And the aid was mostly on the health sector and humanitarian assistance. My thesis had limitations, and I suggest for future research. The writing oversighted income inequality within countries. Every country has socially vulnerable class, and it had limitation on that. Second, elites in developing countries are also a part of the unjust labor relationship. For the suggestion for further research, how the government in developing countries should regulate exploitative labor environment should be discussed. Also, in what ways developed countries can foster sustainable development within the country should be discussed as well. Thank you so much.